The employee retention tax credit, one of the things we put in place during COVID, again, a bipartisan piece of that legislation, which I think was well intended to make sure that that employers kept people on during COVID rather than having to put them on unemployment. As I shared with you, there are a number of businesses in Virginia, and I imagine this is probably the case in other states as well, where there's been a backlog. They can't get clarity. They're not getting these tax credits, which I think they deserve. And since these are businesses that did, from a policy standpoint, what I think we all thought was the right thing by keeping folks employed during that period, can you update us on the overall ERC backlog and where we stand?
I can. We were resolving about 20,000 of these employee retention credits a week, using overtime and any downtime where the phones aren't up, moving people to do it. Like every resource, it's an all hands on deck situation. Post this filing season, now that we can reset the staff, I think we can maybe double per week the amount of refund of credits that we're processing. So that's the action that we're taking. And in particular, I want to make sure, and I've talked to the team about making sure that we go with the older ones first, like those that have been waiting the longest. So, really focus on if it was received in 2022 or prior, because they're still coming in. And under the law, they can come in until 2025. So this is a filing that we're going to be dealing with for years. But I think we're going to make progress.
How many? But if you're saying the great answer, but I also took away the fact that you're going to double per week the number of these that are dealt. How many are being, how much the backlog is being taken care of on a weekly basis? This
20K.
20K. So
20K a week.
We can look at 40K a week going
That's
forward.
the hope.
Okay.
That's what I've asked the team.
You
to
just
do.
said it on the record.
Anyway, so the employee retention tax credit program is not complicated to understand. It's complicated to file. It's complicated to get the money back. Guys, if I can put this very simply when you're having this conversation, number one, the employee retention tax credit program was designed, and it was a unanimous decision by all the senators, all the representatives of the government to say, if you kept your employees employed during the pandemic, because they only had really two options, right? Keep them employed or let them go and go take unemployment. One hurts way worse than the other for the economy. So they're giving a credit back to the business owners who kept their employees employed during the pandemic. I want to be clear what the credit is. If they are W-2 employees, meaning they're withholding Social Security taxes, they're covering healthcare expenses, etc., they're claiming them as employees. That means they're paying tax on those employees. That means that they can recover a portion of those taxes and wages. They're giving them a little bit of the money they got to pay in back, okay? So it's not something that is hurting the economy. It's not something that's taken from us, right? They're just giving them back a small piece of what they paid in. So if they kept their employees employed during the pandemic, we can recover some money. Right now, today, I'm going to drop a bombshell. Don't go asking a million questions. Just soak it in, and we'll get to it through the process, I promise you. 2020 is expiring April 14th of 2024. We cannot file for 2020 any longer after April 14th of 2024. All right. 2021, we can file until April 14th of 2025. Okay. Now, here's the bombshell. We're already requesting the documentation and records for Q1, Q2 of 2022 from all the clients. We can file for Q1, Q2 of 2022. And you're not going to hear that on any other ERC platform, any other ERC program. As a matter of fact, they're going to look at you like you're stupid. They're going to go talk about you behind your back. They're going to go say, oh, don't listen to that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, That is until you go and show IRS checks for 2022, and then they feel real stupid about it, right? We're dealing with CPA firms, attorneys, law firms, accountants, bookkeepers, business owners, public opinion, the brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousin that knows everything about the IRS because they worked there for 40 years. That's what we're up against. We're up against people that have no clue what they're talking about, or they have a small inkling of what's really going on. So 2020, 2021, we can get a couple of quarters of 2022. That doubles the recovery. They're going to get back almost double because of 2022 is the same payout as 2021. So when I say we need 2 W-2 employees all the way to 500, I need non-owner, non-family member W-2 employees, okay? And they need to be full-time employees. Write this down. The IRS guidelines say if they're working 130 hours a month or more, they're a full-time equivalent employee. On average, we can get estimates back to your clients within 3 days if they'll submit their documents. That's the hardest part about what we're doing. But if they'll get their documents uploaded, we can typically turn their estimates around in 3 days. On average, probably a month, give or take, just because people react slowly. Or usually what happens is they have a CPA, accountant, a payroll company, or an attorney, or somebody doing their books that has disappeared for the rest of the year, and they're not able to get a hold of them. We can't do anything without documents, right? So we're dependent on them being able to respond and get documents. So you can help nonprofits. So nonprofits qualify. And guys, the qualification doesn't vary between a nonprofit and a LLC. It's the same qualification. They have to have W-2 employees, right? Churches qualify. Same qualifications. They have to have W-2 employees. They all have to meet the same criteria, okay? On average, we're getting $21,850 per employee. Obviously, if they don't pay their employees anything, that's going to come down some. And then there's other companies that pay their employees a lot, and it's going to go up some. So it's going to fluctuate, but our average is $21,850 per employee. On average, we're recovering the money in about 4.5 to 5 months. Now, over the next 4 to 5 weeks, I've seen a lot of things change since the IRS commissioner was put under the gun to get this stuff done for business owners, right? So he said, the IRS commissioner, I'm going to go from 20,000 to 40,000 a week processed. I'm doubling my staff. I'm putting everyone on strictly focusing on processing ERC claims every week. Okay, man, guys, I'm expecting to start recovering money in like 7 weeks, 8 weeks. Faster for the client, faster for you, right? We get it done quickly. We get it in, we follow up, we press it. When we got special clients, we have direct contact at the IRS. We can call specifically to a couple of people and say, hey, we're going to send this to you directly, right? We just did that for $13.5 million case 2 weeks ago. $13.5 million for one client. We called our person at the IRS, said, hey, you're going to be in Monday because we need to send this to you, right? Being a hero is easier than you think. And the start of putting on that cape and being a hero is just really simple. Hey, did you get your ERC credit? That's it. Did you get your ERC credit? Right? Seriously? I'm kind of fat now and I'm out of shape, and I've been a hero to a lot of businesses. So talking to these CEOs every day is such an amazing feeling. Talking to you guys every day is such an amazing feeling. It's spreading, and it's spreading astronomically because we're doing good work. We're helping a lot of people here. We're helping your family. We're helping their family. We're helping other people's family just because they're in close proximity of what we're doing. They're hearing us. I mean, it is a true blessing and a true honor to be able to work with all of you. And I only hope to get better and better.